son's peace of mind. I know it's hard sometimes. Yeah, I think about the end just way too much. But it's fun to fantasize on my enemies who wouldn't wish who I was. But it's fun to fantasize. Oh, I'm boring, so I'm taking my time on my ride. Taking my time on my taking my time on my I die for you, that's easy to say. We have a list of people that we would take. A bullet for them, a bullet for you, a bullet for everybody in this room. But they don't seem to see many bullets coming through. See many bullets coming through. Metaphorically, I'm the man, but literally, I don't know what I do. I wait for you, and that's hard to do, even harder to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to OLTP Round 2, Season 11. Sizzle joined by Alfitso. And last game of the round this week should be a pretty straightforward game. Only two main talking points of order, starting with Pinksmen. Having a look at them. Had a very confident, very quality game last week. Didn't quite get the win that they were looking for. But point of order in Duke Keekley made his debut from across the pond with Loping. Really made a name for himself, getting a lot of quality defensive plays alongside Nuga that really none of us were expecting. And certainly I think a lot of us will be watching this game, see if he makes the same kind of quality this week. Certainly will be on track to assuring himself the title of most valuable draft pick, undoubtedly. A very, very strong offensive and defensive duo together. We'll be having a good game against, hopefully, the other team, Joe Exotic, which is a new team this week in some regard, with the other point of order being Bobbe, who unexpectedly made the trade this week to the team, replacing Rain. Was surprised about that as well. Didn't really expect to see that trade happen. I don't think any of us did. Having watched that game last night, don't think Bobbe is too upset having been traded off the team anymore, and we'll see how he fits into this team tonight, playing offense alongside Esteem. Don't think they've played together before. Could be wrong about that, but either way, certainly will be interesting to watch, see how they play together. Two pretty experienced players, perennial majors starters. I'm looking to put on a good performance against Nuga and Keekley. Where are you looking tonight, Elfie? Anywhere else?
Anywhere else? No, I think Pinksmen, after their performance in the first week, could be looking to bounce back for sure, as you said. And you know, Bobbe and Esteem, I think they played together in season 3 on Vexillophiles, but I don't believe that team worked overly well that season. So I'm sure they'll be looking for redemption, and Bobbe in particular will be looking to prove his old captain wrong for drafting him away, and hoping to put on another show as he did last week. So yeah, really, really interesting game, and two teams that'll be desperate for a win. So I'm keen. This is good.
Certainly two teams that should be feeling confident about putting on a win anyway. They're both fairly highly ranked in the... I'm not sure about whether ranking changes with Bobbe, but you know, I would expect them to stay pretty much around the same mark as where they were before. Two teams are looking confident to get into the finals. Two teams that should be developing pretty well into a potentially winning team by the end of the season. So this, nothing else, should be a telltale game for what's to come later on. I think all the teams are pretty much ready to start.
Yeah, looks like it. We'll be starting on TransilioLTP, and then jumping into Emerald for our second game. All right.
Nice getting straight into the game then. Good news. Was a little bit belated already. Just other teams sorting out, trying to get the last players online and the last scrimmages in. Here we are at 9 PM, last game of the week, last game of the night. Also, slight change as well, Transilio, of course. Didn't really see it making too much of a big difference other than just the mechanicals. That's really seems to be what it tests. How defenders cover the boost, in the weird ways that it works, how offenders find new ways that it works. getting the flag.
Yeah,
Straight off.
just a bit of coordination here from Joe Exotic, all spamming Lucchini at the start of the game. I like to see that. Shows they're working well together already. As we see Pinksmen with the first grab of the night, looking to get away from Balakwa and does use the portal as well, trying to juke out Bobe, but holds it well. And probably a reset here.
Clever to be patient on those portals, trying to make sure that they can just suss out the players before they get a good grab, but even more patient from the red team to manage to shut down and get 3 players in D. Bobe trying to find a way out as well, making it past Ball was barely with a wall, a few pixels too wide for him. Stim making a gap though to get past Nuga and Keekly with a double boost through the gate that shouldn't have been open and into the face of Ballwas, who gets a grab on the offside, out past Balakwa. Good blocks from Pink. Trying to get past 3 if Keekly can guide him through, but not really in the right position to do so. Getting a bomb out and Bobe making the grab just as in his two in time. Already a quick regrab chain being set up, and a kiss just to reset that just as that happens. Bobe likes being in control. Fair enough. 2 tag pros going to Pinksmen instead as the team uses the rolling bomb to get out almost.
And this is a chance here with that ahead of 3. Tag Pro lead on Keekly. Just Bobe ahead. Is going to have to do something. Does go for a grab. Unfortunately, not enough. Just gets an easy tag there and a nice early cap. But Bobe on the spawn does shut down the potential for a second cap from Pinkman. 1-0 to Pinksmen. As we see Balakwa now with a nice grab out. Some nice bomb usage there. He's looking to use the second bomb here. Goes low. Still contained. And looks like he's going to have to work a little bit harder to get out. And that'll be probably another shutdown of Steam with a bit of a dodgy grab. But yeah, nice explosive start from both teams. And Pinksmen done well to take the lead.
Absolutely. They got definitely the advantage there, having 2 tag pros over the 1 RB, as Bobe's out again with a nice boost coming in on the team boost, not the angle. Keekly's there. They did get the advantage with those tag pros, but certainly put better use to them than what the other team did. It's not necessarily easy to get a clean escort when you've got 2 tag pros on there. Some people generally panic, but as smooth as you could get, bringing the first cap in.
I do wonder what the statistics are there on the old double TP compared to 1 TP. I think that, I don't know, in my experience, 2 tag pros are definitely worse than 1 most of the time. So anyway, getting back to the game, 2 RBs, both defused, just a juke juice on Nuga, which keeps his flag in base. Meanwhile, Balakwa and Dokugan not able to do the same on the other side. Pinkman with a nice bomb up top, still 4 ahead though, going to struggle. Never mind, not struggling. Unfortunately, not able to use the bomb to come in. Some nice OD, but definitely on the back foot here until Dokugan hits an incredible cross-map snipe to get that brilliant reset and put his team back on equal footing.
That's a straight mark of a defender who has a lot of experience knowing what they're doing. That's I think any experienced defender will tell you, if you don't know where the flag carrier is, you can just go straight for a boost half the time on that one. If you know exactly when to do it, you should get clean returns like that. Put yourself in a 3v1 pup battle for the mid by the end of it, which goes to Ballwas getting a tag pro, juke juice rather, and an RB.
Yeah, Bobe with the tag pro instead, and doesn't need to use it, just sort of scares Pinksmen away. Dokugan, some nice holding there. Keekly's still got this RB, going to use it now. Probably helps Pinkman stay alive, albeit temporarily. He dies there. Ballwas, though, on the regrab. Doesn't look like there's going to be too much pressure until he gets bombed away. Lovely choice by Dokugan there, playing really well tonight. Balak with the return as well. And there's a chance here for Esteem with some blocks potentially. Ballwas tries to go for a snipe, misses him completely. And Esteem's just happy to hold, set up that regrab train and look for his opportunity.
They're switching the control over to their half now, trying to make sure they can get the regrab train patient plays going in, bringing it in for an attempted cap. Not the best attempt, but certainly one nonetheless that keeps pressure on. Generally good indicators, just looking at how the flag and the players are all on one side of the half the game, and that's switched over immediately over to the red side to Doku's team, trying for another cap. But yeah, just keeping them all over on the side where they want, keeping the flag where they want, means that they're getting better control of the flag and pups. Coming in for another attempt, again, not quite making it work. Esteem's going to go flag pro for this next one, not getting the use out of the tag pro.
No, it's the one pup he didn't want there to show when he was on regrab with all 4 members on the other side. Would have loved any of the other 2. Instead, he's just going to try and rush into base. Pinkman with a clutch gate. Esteem's not able to spawn in time and clear him off the gate. So instead, looks like these pups are going to go to waste for Joe Exotic, as we see Bobe trying to make his way out, pulling some jukes on Keekly successfully. Esteem gets in his way though, and that's probably the first sign of the lack of coordination so far. They haven't really practiced with each other yet, from what I hear. No scrims or anything until immediately pre-game. So looking out to see how they work together. It's been a while since they played together, 4 or 5 years now. So don't know how much that really carries over at this point.
Well, I think the cap was definitely there for the last one, even with the Steam getting the power up that he didn't want, but just perhaps a bit too eager to come in with that regrab chain to get the cap. A few opportunities that went all right, and then not willing to maintain the same patience to make more opportunities to happen. Just need to slow down the pace a bit. Maybe if they can get Doku with a good escort, no Flag Pro instead out through gate. Are they holding that free for him? Are they getting the blocks on? Almost getting it, but the comms are there in time. Can't put it down much more than that. There's good coordination from the offensive D to make sure they're in the right position. But yeah, certainly just need to make sure that, if they're going to stay in the control, they're going to be making the opportunities. They still need to be making use of those opportunities and being patient, not rushing in the last minute. Couldn't really tell you exactly what kind of team Joe Exotic really is, not having seen many of them play together too often. I think we all know how Pinksmen works, and especially on offense, but Nuga and Kikli's styles are pretty how do you say, sort of become apparent very quickly in terms of the way that they work together, the way that they coordinate, whose roles goes into which, but it just doesn't seem to be necessarily clear immediately for Joe Exotic. So a bit of a mix-up of strategy. Ball is going to try and find a way out, getting closed down by 3, and Pinkman's going to probably get closed down by 4 if he doesn't make the way out. Almost. Oof. Could have been a bomb into a gate for an extra speed, but just timed that bomb perfectly to get into the spike instead. Dangerous playing, but it worked in the end.
A clutch bomb too. He was 100% ahead of 4 with that boost there, as Dokugan was the only one ahead and kissed himself on the tag pro the other side. So crucial in the end. No cap for Pinksmen when they probably should have deserved one there. And a couple of flaccid. Just 3 minutes remaining. Still only the 1 cap. Very low scoring. We've seen some high scoring games in our other 2 games in majors and indeed on minors tonight. So interesting to see just the 1 cap so far. Teams defense and just sort of discipline paying off well so far. As we say that though, Pinkman trying to throw some jukes on Balakwa. Tag Pro coming in from Dokugan. Nuga with the juke juice on Ree is probably going to be the play here. Esteem's RB is diffused, so it's all down to this lead from Dokugan. And Nuga with the juke juice. You'd expect him to hold, but he doesn't quite hit that boost very well. He's going to be able to stay alive just long enough in base. Eventually does get out too, and unfortunately it just looks like there's going to be a little bit of too much pressure on both, and they're both going to die there, and could be a reset on both sides. Once again, just that defensive pressure paying off. Not enough pressure on Esteem though. Comes in with a boost, going to go wide. Nice blocks on in base. Looking for the split, wasn't there. Pink's grab, that's not so good. Nuga gets the return though. And bombed away, so now there's only 2 ahead. This is the biggest chance that Joe Exotic have had so far. Just unfortunately can't come in. Nice OD from Pinksmen to secure their lead.
Again, they're keeping that regrab chain up really well and finding opportunities, but just rushing it in. They're leaning pretty heavily, it looks like, on those boosts around the outside, trying to find the angles there, and they're just not opening up, or not just being quite as perfect as they expect them to.
A bit of miscommunication here on the offensive side from Pinkman to go for a grab with the tag pro and base on the other side, but his defense trustly enough to close that down, and it looks like Esteem's tag pro is going to run out very shortly. There it goes. That was definitely a big opportunity there, but just couldn't get around this Nuga and Kikli defense that have kept them to 0 so far all game. Pinkman going for a grab there, trying to look for some help from Borwis. Does get it. Now has the bomb available to him. Dokugan takes the portals well, just to take that away as his opportunity, and eventually they do get the return on Balakwa, and it could go the other way now. Bobe with some lovely blocks from his team. Unfortunately, Borwis is out as well. Dokugan's looking for that return. Balakwa gets it instead, and Kikli hits the snipe from the side. 1 minute remaining. Last round of pups coming up. Esteem baits Borwis in, and he's going to go gate and gets ahead. RB on Dokugan. Unfortunately, couldn't just hand that off to his friend there, but Balakwa with the tag pro now is going to scare Kikli and Pinkman away. Nuga with a boost in, and Esteem's rushed into base. Oh, but it looks like the returns are coming. There's just...
When's the reset going to come at the right time?
Kikli.
That was a lot of opportunities from them, just not quite to make in. They managed to pull the flag all the way out to the bottom of the base and bring the defenders out just to set up another regrab chain, shutting down the offensive defense. Is they going to maybe Kikli show them, give it how it's done a bit better, being a bit more patient, the bomb going through the gate, backtracking, and let's just see how it comes in, a bit more patient, maybe not going to make as many aggressive attempts. Maybe he is just going to come straight in and see if he can go for glory and get the cap. He can't, but likewise in the right position. Disciplined on the grab. 6 seconds. One more cap if you're lucky. Bobe's going to get glorious jukes to hold on for long enough. But Ball was to hesitate in. 2 seconds left. Nothing else to do there but just go straight into the face of Balakwa. Low scoring. 1-1 to begin the game. Very close indeed, but usually low scoring at the start. That's not uncommon to see either before it kicks up into it. The same did happen with the other two Majors games that you mentioned before. The big score picked up sort of later in the game as I think players probably got a bit more aggressive or a bit settled into the rhythm a bit more.
Yeah, and just those caps as well. The first cap obviously was probably Joe Exotic on the back foot a little bit, starting a little bit slow and losing control of those pups. And then after that, it was opportunities, but no great opportunities for most teams. Probably only a couple each way, which we don't see too often. Normally when it's a low-scoring game, there were opportunities, just not able to convert. But definitely felt like the defense was carrying both teams here, and really, really solid OD. Keekley almost on that cap for Joe Exotic, only a pixel away from getting the return, but in the end, just a little too slow. And as you said, finished 1-1. So yeah, hopefully it does pick up in the second half. We want to see some good, exciting tag pro, but it's been good so far.
There's not much really to put it down to individually either. There's not been any particular standout players who have been dominating the clips or anything at all so far. It's just been really positional gameplay, which is, I suppose, what we often see on Transilio as well, is just that regrab chain due to the openness of the bottom left and top right sections. Just is really, really easy to sort of set up and maintain a lot faster than it is to be able to get resets for the defenders. There's just no utility out there really for any defenders to shut down. So if you get a good handoff, you go up that way, then it's really the way you save caps.
All right, and we're into the second half here. As we said, hoping for I won't say exciting, because it was very exciting through that first half, but hopefully we get a little more cap opportunities and some more clutch plays. Definitely defense dominated so far, and looks like it's starting off that way again with a little flaccid from Esteem. Nuga plays those very, very well. But yeah, it does seem like it's a bit of a tough place to get out this base here on Transilio. Really do need to make use of the tools that you have, and someone who does make use of those tools are Pinkman and Ballers. Pinkman's out already, and Dokugan takes the boost away from him, but he doesn't stay ahead. Does get a nice bomb, knows that path well, does Dokugan. Gets ahead with all four on OD there. Ballers with this regrab train though is going to look to try and capitalize. Balakwa shuts him down well, and they're going to look for a reset here. Pinkman on the flag. First round of pups coming up. Sorry, Pinkman. Oh, rookie mistake from Pinkman. Sits on the power up. Unfortunately, if you're sitting on the power up, you're not going to pick it up. You need to be off the power up tile before you can pick it up. Just sits on it when it spawns. Maybe didn't have the timing quite right, although he definitely should have as a Majors player. Keekley does get the crucial tag pro and is going to help Ballers get out with two very quick tags. Bobe on the button, doesn't die, but Ballers is still ahead of him, and the call comes all too late for Esteem to get on the button on the other side. And it's a nice early cap from Pinksmen, as it was in the first half, and could be a second one again. Keekley going to do the exact same route. This is very, very similar, and
pixel, perfect. Right around the edge. And you can just see again, just those calls just coming slightly too late to get on the gate, as it does again. And Bobe comes in for Pinkman, just getting unfortunate lucky quick kill on Ballers to free up the flag and come into Steam, looking for another opportunity. Already the pace is picking up. As Balakwa's going to go for a double block 2v1. Is he going to make it? No. Just holding for pups as a Steam. The intelligent decision, getting an RB out of it. Nice reward for him. Nuga coming into the base and is going to hold the flag for just long enough for those two RBs probably to be fairly useless compared to Pinkman's. And an unfortunate bomb. Keekley with a block results in a double tap. Pinkman ends up keeping his RB, in spite of the fact of being a person probably responsible for making that double tap happen. I don't think I've ever seen that kind of return happen before. Just a complete error from Bobe to waste his RB in the fastest way possible without getting anything out of it. Balakwa coming out of base, getting a kiss, got more out of that flag carry than Bobe did with his rolling bomb. That's unfortunate. And reset follows soon after with a couple of quick kills from Bobe and Pinksmen. Doku and Pinksmen respectively. So yeah, already a much quicker pace happening there. And when the pups came into it as well, the first round of pups, and people especially got off that, even just getting out of the base to go and fight for it really is what mixed up the positions and allowed for that to happen. Yeah. Third round coming up again. More fighting is happening all over the field. Nothing else to go for. There's still a tag pro in mid between Balakwa and Pinksmen. Bell might be in better position, but Pinksmen freaks him into it, getting a Juke Juice lead for Borwis out of base. Not as coordinated as you'd want for a Juke Juice and a tag pro together, but they're out with Nuga with blocks on Bobe, with Doku with the bomb behind, getting the return just in time anyway. Unfortunate, just not moving fast enough. They get a tag pro on a Juke Juice, they got the whole map to spare, 2 players blocked out. They should just be moving at full pelt. Not sure why that cap didn't happen, but maybe without one they'll find an even easier, less stressful time coming around the outside with Nuga with blocks on a steam right around the right side, freeing up the space to give them a 2 cap lead. Doku with the blind snipe. 1 player to beat in Pinksmen. Nuga blocked out. Balakwa slowing down a little bit too much. Keekly and Nuga. Do you know what? Credit to them. Every single time I've watched those two going for a return together, they've been exactly as coordinated as any players who look like they should have been playing a whole season. They know exactly how to cover each side, and I think that's helping them a lot with getting them the resets just in the moments that they need, where other players just might not be able to.
A bit of uncoordination there from Bobe and Esteem, though. Bobe wanted Esteem to go top above the spikes. Esteem decided to go low, and instead they get split from each other, and the return comes. So now Bobe going flag pro, needs to stay alive. Nuga throwing some jukes in and around Joe Exotic. Bobe does die, and there are nice blocks there from the defensive side of Pinksmen, and it looks like it could be a second cap now. Pinkman rushing in, no regrab now, probably getting told to hold instead. And it looks like it could go the other way now. Just Borwis ahead. They do have the blocks in base. Keekly's hot on the trail and does get the return. Just going back to that first, or rather the third cap, I suppose, of the game. Definitely really poor OD from Esteem and Bobe, pushing so far out. And then the flag carrier just came around, boosted around the side, boost on the left there, the red and yellow boost, and then came in for a cap way too easily. And they're able to get a second cap from that very, very quickly afterwards. So if they're able to shut that down a little bit earlier with some closer OD, probably would be in a better position. Instead, now they're going to be 4 caps behind. It's 5-1. And just like we maybe hoped, looks like a bit of a rout, unfortunately, but definitely more caps coming. No cap for Borwis, unfortunately, as it looks like he gets shut down. Kiss, though, comes, and it's just Esteem who's pushed out, unfortunately gets blocked out, and Pinkman just sidesteps him very easily. 6-1 now. Pinksmen all over them.
That is a good use of a regrab train. Choo choo choo. Does the regrab train go if you're on Pinksmen? And not just, to be honest, credit shouldn't be taken away just from Joe Exotic for the terrible OD positioning, to be honest, but also just Pinksmen really, really taking the initiative to get into the position, to get those blocks that they need before the flag carrier even comes into base, making sure that they have the blocks on. You're just a really, really coordinated team to be able to make use of a regrab train that way more than they did in the first half. Another round of pups coming up. Perhaps with Joe Exotic being in better position to get all 3 of them, almost, except for the middle, could make something magical happen. 2 tag bros on offensive D, not even going for a grab. None required when you're 6 caps down, apparently. Flag pro, there it comes. Just 2 holes, so no escort coming, even with those 2 tag bros, even with winning the pup round. They're still not getting the escorts that they need. They're getting Nuga with an RB out of base on the bottom left, even coming in for a cap opportunity if they're Steam. And Steam comes! The return does come in time. Balakwa cannot get back in time. It's Brazil at the moment with a kiss to hopefully bring a reset, to hopefully maybe not even come back by this point. It's probably too late for that, but just to slow them down and ease the pain a little bit. Bobe is just camping the boost. There's not really much movement that he needs to make. It's all really onto whether or not the defenders can come and find him where he is. Again, flag carrier is looking pretty open. Borwis trying to get away from Balakwa. Nuga getting a good snipe on Dokugan for a reset, and RB comes to their defense as well. But Borwis is closed down in the opposite corner of the map on the top left. And middle pups also become very delayed. much to the delight of Balakwa, who finds himself with the Duke Juice. Not to his team, who finds himself in the face of Pinksmen's Duke Juice, unfortunately. But look at these free opportunities. Let's see how the positioning goes. The mechanics, if Bobe can take his time, wait for the breaks to come in, wait for the re-grab. Nuga's going for a shaky grab, but Bobe even for a shakier entry. Shoebox with the sub in, 2 minutes remaining. Perhaps there's a lagger afoot. Dokugan is out. Yeah, Dokugan, the captain, is out for Shoebox on defense. Perhaps that could explain some of the story of the last 5 caps in this half.
Yeah, there were some complaints from both teams actually, saying that the server wasn't doing them too many favors. So hopefully Dokugan can get back into the game quickly, and Shoebox can hold the fort while he's here. Looks like iTag's being subbed in as well. I believe that's for Bobe, who's gone AFK. Indeed it is. And whilst all this is happening, his team is almost out Flag Pro. Was ahead of 3, but a nice snipe from behind just ensures that doesn't go anywhere. Instead, he's going to clear the base. Balakwa does get that mid-delayed pup once again, like he did last round, as you said, looking for a grab, some coordination with iTag Pro. This is how you lead, perhaps. Balakwa gets 2 tags early on, plenty of time to set up the blocks and set up the lead. Does get a 3rd.
Oh, show them how it's done, iTag. Honestly, coming in, perfectly trusting Balakwa. Balakwa staying nice and close, covering every single angle that he needs to at every moment, even getting a grab out in the opportunity. You know, we normally I don't think I've seen 2 minus players have to sub in just for lagging at one point. So, I mean, yeah, the server's been really, really bad for a lot of people. I hope it's just a server problem and not just, you know, the 2 players have really unfortunately been faced with that much lag in the same game. It's really unfortunate to see that happen. Pinksmen coming out of base ahead of Shoebox. Around the outside, Balakwa 2 pixels away from getting the return that he needs by a bee's dick. Does Pinksmen come in from the cat? Borwis with a Flag Pro through the gate. iTag's got to hold for long enough to get make sure there's no return, and he does, just long enough for Borwis to get shut down even with that Flag Pro. So 8-2, that should be the end of the game. Maybe there could be another few caps, but just really looks like there was a lot of strong, solid, continuous pressure from Pinksmen and just no ability from Joe Exotic to be able to shut the regrab down, unfortunately.
Yeah, we got our last potential cap here. Balakwa does get a nice split through the team, but Balls was sitting there ahead, and instead it could go the other way unless iTagro can stay alive. Instead, it's a snipe from Pinkman that kills him. Shoebox now tasked with the job, does use the portals well to stay alive, but it was futile anyway. 8-2, it finishes to Pinksmen in the end from 1-1 at halftime. And a couple of moments there in particular where you saw, you know, Esteem and Balakwa, I think it was, going for the pup, or Esteem and iTag rather, going for the pup, and instead Pinkman was just able to come in for a nice easy cap. There was obviously no communication, and losing Dokugan, hopefully he can come back, but losing Dokugan would have done that. Dokugan very, very good with his communication, so hopefully these teams won't be suffering from it come the next map. But Pinksmen takes out the win, 8-2, and they'll be feeling pretty good about themselves after that second half.
For sure. I mean, at the end of the day, the lag, as bad as it is, it does seem to be affecting everyone. And so, and you know, I think especially for a lot of that game, they did look pretty solidly in control. So I don't think you can put the loss entirely down to just them lagging out or anything. They played well enough to win, regardless. And silver lining out of it all is iTag, who's just made his Majors debut and got a cap out of it. So I think that's got to be a talking point for a long time. Is that his debut in Majors?
I think so. I'm not entirely sure. I hope so.
First two minutes of Majors for iTag, and he's managed to get a perfect, absolutely undoubted, not down to anything but skill cap with Balakwa. So well done, iTag. Credit to him. We are getting a lot of other players in the game now, also worrying about lag, talking about the option of maybe going to new comps. Doesn't seem like they want to do that, which is fair enough. Especially on these on a fast-paced maps like shorter ones like Emerald and Transilio, you definitely do feel the lag a lot more, and it's harder to. You just use positional intelligence to make up for it, and then they're so mechanical. So. At the end of the day, hopefully they'll go through. It looks like they do want to go through, so...
The two NZs are out. Hopefully Joe Exotic team can come back from this, and I'm not entirely sure. We had this conversation yesterday with Dokugan, actually, how you fix your ping. I'm not sure how you're supposed to do that. Apparently resetting your router does nothing, which was the only ever thing that I thought would work. So yeah.
Well, it's a young server. It's only come back in the last 6 months, really. I don't think it's the same one that we had last time, and probably hasn't expected to have OLTP and advertising come back to it all at once and have so many games on.
Looks like we're taking a bit of an extended break here during the halftime, just waiting for a couple of players to come back in. In the meantime, I believe that the topic of conversation for tonight was boysenberries. Is that right, Sizzle?
Yes, boys. I had a query for the stream. Well, for anyone really, is that I've bought this delicious boysenberry jam, and there's lots of boysenberry things out there. But like there's boysenberry ice creams, there's boysenberry chocolates and slices, but where do you actually buy boysenberries from? They don't like sell them anywhere. I feel like I've maybe just seen, are they like wild? Like you just see them around like blackberries or blueberries or whatever, do you know? Are they like, but they look really similar to blackberries and blackcurrants and raspberries as well, so I don't even know if it's the same fruit.
Yeah, well, Wikipedia doesn't really offer too much help. They say that it's a cross between a raspberry, a blackberry, a dewberry, and a loganberry. I didn't even know that a loganberry existed, to be honest. So a mix of 4 different berries. I mean, who the hell knows? It's all a joke, mate.
It just feels like the free market rubbing it into my fucking consumerism. Do you know what I mean? I know that I'm not eating real foods every time I go to the supermarket, but I don't want you to rub it in and invent a whole new fruit that doesn't even exist. But it tastes better than all the other ones. I mean, come on. Do you know what I mean? It's getting, but I'll keep eating it. It's good. It's good jam.
Is it like a 5G situation? Is it something that was produced in order to control us? Like they're not naturally occurring. These are bred by some weirdos that decided we'd combine 4 berries into one. Somehow it worked for them, but I don't know. I'm a little suspicious.
That is an interesting. You've just reminded me as well, is that it actually does come from New Zealand, which I'm pretty sure isn't a real place.
Yeah. We may have lost half the stream.
Yeah, I can't be mad at them just for making fruits and, fighting coronavirus better than we do. Can't be mad at them for that. Anyway, looks like we are ready to get back into the game. Recess has ended, and we're starting on game 2, round 2, OLTP Season 11 on Emerald. Again, fast-paced map. Really big difference in this map being the structure, unlike the openness of Transilio, which is sort of just broken down into 2 distinct sections. This map is 4 lanes with no bottleneck in the middle, and a lot of really closed lanes. So it's a lot more down to how the defenders are able to communicate and coordinate in the lane structures to be able to not just shut down resets, but because that's almost an impossible job really against competent O, but just to be able to slow down the resets and slow down the regrab to make sure that they're, well, at least essentially doing that better than the other team. Back to group, still more lag coming, so hopefully not too much longer. The other main difference in this map as well being the power-ups is that unlike Transilio, where the power-ups are right in the base and right in the main pathways, means you're not really punished as much for losing out on the power-up control, but in order to get the power-ups in this map, you have to not only put yourself so far away from the gameplay, but so out of the way of the actual viewport of what you can see in the game. So it means that it's not just general coordination, but communication to be able to make sure the exact numbers in those pups are being kept. It's just so much more important on Emerald than it is on Transilio. So those are the things that are going to be tested for these guys. I think they're similar enough that we could probably still see Pinksmen keep their momentum and maintain a strong showing. But Joe should have enough to work with for sure that they'll be able to make a comeback and see a close game. Looks like it actually might even just be simply a problem with the group. Pubs seem to be not lagging for these guys, so not really knowing how this works, we're going to try just another group and see if that helps us with the lag issues. Just while setting up the group. Have we got some music on, Vin? Just to keep the music going?
Just trying to organise the teams into an alternative group. Hopefully we can get some better ping here. Just testing things at the moment, so just bear with us, people. We apologise.
Finally
Getting into the second game, yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be OLTP without perennial lag issues, really.
To NZ's presence must be felt in every season.
He did sign up, didn't he? He didn't get drafted, but I think I saw his name on the sign-up sheet.
Did he not get drafted? I thought everyone got drafted.
Well, I feel like speaking about the issue may potentially curse us, so
But it's not.
we are coming into game anyway, so we are finally getting OLTP back underway. I think if the first game potentially was marred a little bit by nerves for the newly christened Joe Exotic, then potentially all this fucking around trying to get the game sorted will distract them a little bit from that. And although lag issues may have resolved themselves for this game, it looks like Esteem is suffering from the issue of being randomly locked out of the group.
All right. What are we now? 8? 9? Back to game. Finally.
I have not got my hopes up, but it looks like Esteem is in the group. It looks like people are not complaining about the lag yet.
Yet is the operative word.
3, 2.
Nuga claiming that his is at 200, but he'll deal with it. Not sure if that's accurate. All right, we're underway. Finally, we can talk about the game once again instead of boys and breeze. We ran out of topics. We didn't have any other topics but boys and breeze. So it's a good thing.
Well,
this is back.
still like that question to be answered at some point, but Bobe, meanwhile, would like the question of whether or not the base is open to be answered, and it is by the death of Pinksmen and Keekley as he tries to duke around Nuga, not quite making the distance work. Esteem looking to take the long way around, going up through the top. Keekley, on the other hand, can man the boost before the opportunity comes. And a quick reset already. Just 2 opportunities, no grabs yet from Pinksmen. Nuga opening the case for them, going around the outside. Good enough blocks from Boris to get him around and opening down the bottom. There's 2 people to beat on offensive defense, and Balakwa is pixel perfect to just touch the bottom half. Boris has 3 to beat and 2 to block coming into offense. Again, keeping that regrab train alive and well. Enough discipline from Dokugan's Joe Exotic to not cap, and enough intelligence from Boris to hold enough for the pups. Hold enough just to see 1 person die in base and 2 others leave. Has he got the return in time? No, he doesn't. Esteem managed to get out with the skin of his teeth past Keekley to make it out of base. Nuga getting kill after kill after kill is going to help to try and close down Esteem as Pinkman's coming in with a juke juice, but still no cap opportunities. These are the regrab trains that you just cannot stop, but have to find a way to slow down enough for Pinkman to hopefully come in with a return. Bobe is trying to track back, almost going into base, but there's only 1 defender to chase him and shut him down. Nuga coming in helps him with that, as does Balakwa on balls.
Yeah, lovely snipe from Balakwa there. Blocks from Dokugan aren't enough to get Esteem out, but they might be enough here to get Boris out. He's got a second attempt. Instead, he's going to get the grab for himself. Looking threatening at the moment. Joe Exotic just sitting in base, having a bit of fun. Boris even throwing some stuff in chat. So, unfortunately, not able to get out. And it looks like Bobe is not going to be able to get a grab in either. Keekley, meanwhile, on the other side, ahead of 2. And Esteem has been caught up in the tunnel there, looking for that pup. Did double back, but wasn't to be anyway. Instead, it's going to be Pinkman with his RB on flag coming in, just Bobe ahead. Dokugan decides not to defuse the RB. Probably was the right choice. Instead, look for a grab, but just couldn't get it. Probably only a couple of pixels off. They're going to look for a return back on the other side. Instead, it looks like 4 ahead. Not to be. Steam does get the return. So, once again, Pinksmen takes the lead at the start of the game.
And just that regrab chain, keeping on, keeping the pressure, also allowed them to backtrack and get good control over the pups as well, which is really good. Bobe almost used his juke juice to find that grab and get the return, but yeah, just really unfortunate to not get right in the nick of time. Sometimes it is just like that. Unfortunately, Keekley's out, and it is just like that as a double facet from Bobe and Esteem allows him to walk in with the 2-second boat. A little delay, more than a boat probably really, but come in with a clean second cap right before the second round of power-ups comes. RB diffused from Boris, a slightly delayed second RB in the top left gets diffused for Bobe. still fair game for everyone. Pinksmen, good boost to come off the 45 and get out. Balakwa using the team boost as perfect as he could to get a return. And still just patient, calm, calculated play, it looks like at the moment. Speaking of, not enough calculation to even get words in for that. Just a perfect timing return on Bell and a good boost from Boris to come in with a cap. That was really, really nice work. 2 kills from Bobe and a regrab from Esteem coming in for cap number 1 on Emerald, and he comes in with the boost. It's not perfect, but perfect enough to get the cap before Boris gets a grab.
He's going to be on Pabe to stay alive here. Nuga does get some time where it was return for cap. It's not going to come instead. Just going to be a little bit of hold from both, with another round of pups coming up in about 10 seconds. We'll see teams start to look for that as Boris gets the return on Bobe. Nuga looking for that top pup. Doesn't look like he's going to get it. Instead, it's going to be both flag carriers contesting this pup in top. You don't see that too often. Boris does get the tag pro, and Balak with a juke juice. With this tag pro, just able to sit in base comfortably. And if the return comes on Keekley here, Bobe not able to get it. It's just Nuga ahead, and they do get to block him out. Could be Balakwa here for their second cap. Just 1 cap in it now, and Joe Exotic are looking good for it at the moment.
No, they're bringing it back. They're bringing it back in. They're fighting for those pups. They keep him in control and calm. And that's just really straightforward for Bell to see the opportunity there, and for his defenders to get the blocks on Nuga. Didn't need to say anything more than that. Just made sure they were where they needed to be and got the blocks. Came for the cap. More of that is what they need to be doing, really. No guesswork.
An unfortunate bomb from Balakwa does kill his teammate Dokugan on the spike, allowing a quick grab from Pinkman, but not able to make anything of it. Bobe was hovering around as well. He's going to use this hover to contest for this bot pup, which it looks like they might be in the better position for. It looks like Pinksmen are in the better position for the top pup. It is an RB cleared on Balakwa, who's just going to go and get a grab as he finds the base completely empty. Pinkman does get that tag pro, and the return comes from Nuga with a lovely snipe. They're looking to clear out the base of Joe Exotic, but they get the return on balls before that comes. Pinkman's still getting tags for fun as he waits for his offensive partner to come in. Not too long left on this tag pro, and he went fishing for tags there. Does get a couple in the end, and then a grab into a Flaccid, but it's allowed Boris to get out. Some nice close OD so far on the other side from Joe's, make it tough for Boris to come in. And 2 Flaccid grabs instead for Joe gives Pinkman the exact same opportunity. Once again, OD is going to be required. Bobe with a bomb kills one of the defenders and allows Balakwa the chance to get out, and instead we're going to go into this regrab train that we've seen so often.
Yeah, and just really silly to be going for those Flaccids there, just making it a little bit hard for themselves, but it worked out. And again, Boris coming in for an opportunity, a little bit too hot, enough for Bobe to seem to find where he's going to end up. And certainly the tag pros look like they seem to be going more towards Pinksmen at the moment. That being said, they do win this power-up round fair and square, getting 2 juke juice out of it. The double RBs for Joe Exotic and 2 tag pros in a row that last round is what we got from those power-up battles. A bit unfair, but still keeping the score close anyway.
Yeah, still 3-2, which I'm sure Joe Exotic would be, if they weren't in the heat of the battle, would be feeling good about themselves, understanding that they are keeping the score relatively close. You think when the tides turn back to their way and they do finally get a tag pro, they might be able to make something of it. Instead, it's going to be on Esteem to hold, and Dokugan does get the flag but he might be closed down by Pinkman, just escapes with the skin of his teeth away from Pinkman, and Boris is not able to get that cap. Instead, it was almost going to go the other way. Keekley coming off for a return, not able to get it on Dokugan. Again, we have regrab trains for both teams. Esteem getting shut down, and instead it's going to be on Bobe to hold. A nice gate from Balakwa gives him the space to do so. Another round of pups. Bobe going to have to pick up this tag pro himself, probably. Instead, Pinkman doesn't go for the snipe, wants to maintain re. So it's tag pro each way, and Bobe doesn't care. He's just going to come in for a cap. They let the flag tile open. Instead, he clears Nuga out with this tag pro, and unfortunately, it could be a counter cap here. Dokugan killed on the gate, and all that good work and discipline from Joe Exotic, unfortunately, gives them absolutely nothing. They're still 1 cap behind, and instead they just killed a minute. But played it really, really well until the opportunity presented itself for Pinksmen, who then capitalized immediately.
I mean, there's just a fluster of positioning there, really, for Bobe to be able to be contesting that tag pro. Not only in the first place, but also then sitting there for a good 3 or 4 seconds waiting to see if any teammates were going to come and help him with it. Took it anyway, just went for a cap, playing his own game, really. Why not? But yeah, just the power-up control definitely seems to be a little bit of an afterthought for both of these teams, leaving the earlier one as well to go to 2 flag carriers contesting for it. now no one's making the same mistake again, all of them being 4-4, and we get nothing but diffused RVs anyway out of it. Good news, good to see. Perhaps that's why they don't go for it. Maybe you shouldn't go for it. Maybe the meta's changing. I mean, we're out of date. Pinksmen finding a way out of base with a nice boost, but a terrible wall block cannot make his way past Dokugan. Ballers can only keep up a regrab train and see if there's any openings that come to fruit for him. Past a steam, past a spike, barely through into base, and just enough from Doku and a steam. Really intelligent positioning from both of them. Step one of just keeping the flag on the correct side of the map. Again, Keekly and Nuga coordinating very well in a somewhat alternative strategy to make sure they're shutting down their regrabs on the spot as they happen.
Yeah, there was an opportunity there. If I do believe that if it was a steam instead of Balakwa holding the flag, would have known for the handoff. The opportunity was there. Bobo was definitely going to be out and ahead of 2. Unfortunately, didn't come from Balakwa. Handoff, of course, would have been very, very effective, as it always is on this map. Instead, the last round of pups is going to go the way of the Pinksmen. Nuga with the tag pro, not able to do a whole lot with it, and it's going to be on a steam, who does get out a lovely block as Boris jumps off the gate. Tag pro and base, so is going to make it very, very difficult for him to cap. And it looks like Boris is going to come in with some pressure as well. Tag pro does grab in the end, but he's going to be out nice and clean. 30 seconds left, just 1 cap in it. Joe Exotic looking for their opportunity, does get the return on Nuga. 20 seconds. And instead, it could go the other way now. A nice bomb from Nuga kills Bobe in base.
Oh, so close. Just excellent mechanics from the OD to get the blocks and the returns in, but just getting beaten to that gate. So crucial, that gate. Makes your ball just a lot bigger if you manage to find your way to that button if you're on offensive defense. Ball was coming in, trying to find another opportunity, but getting still too hasty. And that was the end of the first half. Close endings, but it's still another half to go, and it is absolutely 100% anyone's game in this case. Not if you look at the power-ups counter, though. If you look at the power-ups counter at the moment, you can see it is certainly 1 cap difference going a very big way towards Pinksmen. Say what you will about the tag pros earlier in the game. If you're fighting for those pups, you get to have the more tag pros. And that's just fair for them. So there's not really too many big difference in the stats other than that one, really, that stand out. Yeah,
it was huge. Just the 5 pups, I think it was, for Joe Exotic. Meanwhile, I presume that was 13 for Pinksmen. So big discrepancy there. All the rest of the stats were pretty even, as you said. And I think that showed, realistically. Joe Exotic was sort of holding on just to this essentially 1 cap deficit, although they did very well to do that. I thought they were the better team, certainly. And just a couple of overpowered moments from Pinksmen with those pups, able to utilize them very, very well. And a couple of counter caps as well, it seemed. Maybe just a lack of cohesion or positioning from Joe Exotic. Obviously, with Bobe in this week in a new trade, haven't had too much time to scrim with him. So, yeah, potentially it's showing. But good to see that there's no lag. We are in a better position for our second half. No teams seem to be struggling with that. And looks like we're ready to get in. No, Pinksmen not ready instead.
I think it's a lot of that, though. I think Bobe is definitely it does look like a new team that hasn't got all the coordination together. But that being said, Bobe is still making a name for himself, I think, in that game in particular, getting some good individual plays, certainly being a present player for Pinksmen, just in a lot of critical plays, being the person who's been there, doing exactly the job he needed to do. The cohesion can come later. First thing I think that really indicates that, I suppose, would be the pup control. And so hopefully that's going to be the first thing they're looking at in the second half to try and pick up.
Yeah, definitely some moments there we saw, and I think we even mentioned in the commentary, where Bobe was in a good position. He's obviously playing very well individually. It's just a matter of finding that cohesion with the rest of the team. A couple of handoff opportunities that would have led to great cap opportunities at the other end, but not to be yet. Hopefully they can get this sorted as we get into the second half. 4-3 to Pinksmen. And both teams desperate for a win here. This is do or die. If we get a sweep here, you'd expect Joe Exotic to be struggling to make up the numbers come to the finals. They're hopefully going to get some cohesion before the finals. But if they struggle with this and then struggle next week as well, they could be looking on from the outside. So hopefully it does come here.
Well, they are still sitting in a decent enough spot on the ladder overall. And again, worth mentioning that this is one of the top two teams as well they're playing against at the moment. So perhaps even the score is closer than what a lot of us should be expecting. Hopefully they know what they need to work on. See if they can bring it just as much a close game as what we've enjoyed in the first half, as Bobe finds a really good grab off a Steam's double button. Bobe making a nice juke to fake past Keekley's snipe and still miss Nuga. He's only got 4 men to beat on offensive defense, Keekley being one enough. And for a Steam as well, managing a reset all by his own. Still, wow, good on Keekley, continuing to maintain the performance, just as I asked in the start of round 1, and he really is already, if he keeps doing that, one of the best, most valuable draft picks from the start of the season. First round of pups up, and we're going to be getting those contentions that we want to see from two major sides. So far, yes. Not enough of an excuse to go for the flag.
Not sure where Dokugan was going there. Ran past the pup and then realized he probably should be helping top. Juke Juice on the flag gives the advantage to Joe Exotic, but Bobe just gets caught from behind there. Instead, it could go the other way. Esteem probably with a clever kiss there. And as long as they can shut down Pinksmen here, it'll be yet another reset, as we've seen at the start of this game a couple times already, coming from Esteem there. So first round of pups leads to nothing, but we did get the contest from Joe Exotic, which is what we want to see.
Absolutely, even with that Juke Juice though. I mean, getting caught from behind on the boost with the Juke Juice, I mean, there's not really much to excuse that other than just, what, did you panic? I mean, the cap opportunity might not have been there, but definitely made it a bit easy for them than he needed to. Borwis getting a nice kill out. Nice enough to at least give Pinksmen a nice handoff out and an open gap to come straight through top. Doku blocked out and not enough to recover. The boost, if you just get out like that with a good handoff, the boosts are just too quick. All you need to have is just a simple comm to say which way to come into base, and if you've got that, it's a guaranteed cap every time. And that was a clear-cut case of that. You might even see another one with Pinksmen out bottom, only one tag pro to beat, not getting the noob spike in time, Dokugan getting a boost grab out of base in time, holding on that cap train for just one moment, only Borwis to beat. Close to getting returned, Keekley close to supporting or getting in his way, depending on how he wants to play it. Bobe just managing to find him in those team tiles though. It's really nice.
Oh, lovely from Bobe. Does get the shutdown here, and the bomb doesn't kill Keekley, instead gives him the grab and also kills his own teammate. But it could be an opportunity here for Esteem, who's just a little too slow getting in. Nuga covering it off well, and now he has 4 to beat, just 3 with the boost now, but not going to be enough. Some nice OD from Pinksmen, as we've seen so far already. 2 caps up as well. Next round of pups coming up. A death from, I believe that was Nuga. Yes, it was. Is not going to lead to much, as Keekley is able to shut that down with a bomb, and Nuga almost getting that pup as well. His teammate, though, Keekley, did get the all-important tag pro on the other side, so hopefully they can put that to good use. Bobe and Esteem managed to get out and probably, come in for an opportunity for a cap. Oh.
Almost making it, just not getting the boost right. That was his 2 good opportunities from both teams and 2 good mistakes from each teams to run, and really that could have gone either way. Getting a flag pro from Keekley, but also just missing up a really basic boost from Esteem stops him from getting a cap. Bobe wants to make a better one happen if he can come around the outside. Nuga has something to say about that instead. Esteem's got the power now, coming around through the team tiles to find a way through bottom. An open flag, but didn't read the play to see the boost there. That was pretty lucky. Would have been down to luck, really, if he had seen it pretty close, but didn't anyway. Bobe past Nuga, trying to find another opportunity, and still just keeping that regrab train, but just really good quality defense from Nuga and Keekley to shut down those regrabs every single time that they need to.
Steam almost had an opportunity there. Realized that the entirety of Pinksmen was contesting the pups. Keekley was just able to pull off just in time to get the return instead. Still an opportunity now. Balakwa with that Juke Juice power player would have been able to chase very, very well on the flag. Unfortunately dies on the gate. There's going to be a little less pressure on Nuga, just enough to kill him, but certainly not enough to get the cap for themselves. Borwis is going to be out instead. Once again, we're in this this position where we're just looking for resets from both teams, and the team that can get the reset the quickest and in the best position really puts himself at a massive advantage on this map. They do get the return on ball as the reset doesn't come on Pinksmen immediately. Instead, it was delayed by a second, along with a couple of tags as well to go with it, and it brings a cap for Joe Exotic. Esteem not able to double up there, unfortunately getting bombed away. Does have the use of this boost, is not going to use it. Instead, the call comes out to hold for Pups, and it looks like they will get the RB, which is then immediately diffused. Nuga is coming into base, and Esteem just stays alive long enough to juke past 1 or 2, but not long enough to save the cap. Very unfortunate there, and instead the 2 cap lead is restored by Pinksmen, playing it very, very well.
Yeah, just good opportunities there to come in. Belacqua got a really nice triple kill on that gate to make that first cap happen. But again, just rushing it in too much and then just losing a little bit of focus, allowing the counter cap to come through all too easily for Pinksmen. And at the end of the day, that's all they need to do. All they need to do is win, just keep the score higher than the other team. So you just cannot be getting that excited off those sorts of cap opportunities. You really need to keep your head down and make sure you're doing your job. Pinksmen and Keekly are the 2 most important players to stop this cap. As Belacqua is able to not get past Keekly, but Pinksmen is able to get past, and Esteem's getting gated, and last man on OD, coming in just too quickly, Pinksmen. And he waited in that base for such a long time for his team to come and do the things that they needed to do to get the return, the cap, the pups, everything else, and just waited for the base to path open up for him, and took it straight away and got a cap. That kind of coordination, that kind of intelligent thinking is maybe just lacking a little bit from Joe Exotic at the moment. As Belacqua almost nails a really nice timed boost onto the flag. Bobe gets the better one instead to come in to bring the score to 5-7.
Yeah, almost some great coordination there, timing that boost very, very well, but just missed it by a tile or 2. Instead, it comes down to Bobe, who does get the cap after the base is cleared out for him. Same thing maybe happening here. Keekly dies on the flag. Nuga just out of position. They do get the reset, but they have conceded 2 caps. And just as we were talking up, Pinksmen, they have let in 2 very quick caps. And you would expect if Joe Exotic can get on top of these pups for the next couple of rounds and get a little bit lucky coming with a tag pro, the form that they're on, they'll be doing very, very well and could really pull this out. They are contesting that bot one and do have the prime position. Keekly does get that juke juice pretty much uncontested. It is an RB bot. We've been saying that a lot. Diffused once again for Dokugan. Esteem with a nice roll-off grab, but it just leads to 2 Flacids, not able to give his captain any opportunity there. 2.5 minutes remaining, 1 cap in it.
And the scores are still close. The pup battles definitely are closer this round, if still a little bit favoured towards the Pinksmen. The score is still saying really, really close as well, 6-7. The gap hasn't changed since half time. So it still is anyone's game if the coordination comes at the right time. Those critical moments come, or those correct plays, come at just the right critical moments to make sure that they're actually converted into caps and not just things that look cool in clips. Doku almost managing to get past at the bottom, but just getting shut down. Balu with a faster 45-degree movement. Pup Idol's come up really quickly again as well. Esteem's all by himself up the top. Maybe getting it, maybe just blocking the boost well enough to get a juke juice. Maybe Bobe getting the pup well enough, avoiding the pop well enough to just go for a flag grab instead, coming into base a little bit too hot, a little bit too eagerly. Not in time for Doku to get blocks on 3 players all at once. Esteem making another opportunity happen. The bomb is there to help block. Not enough to get any kills. Still keeping a busy base and not enough room for him to come in. There's just 1 cap. Just 1 cap to keep yourself on the boards. Don't need to be throwing everything too hard. Just slow down. Make sure you're getting it the way that you're getting it correctly and not through guesswork.
Yeah. Bobe did give his team a bit of agency there and the control by going for the grab whilst the pup battle was on. Wasn't able to capitalize himself, but gave his team a great opportunity. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to capitalize. And instead, we've just delayed our game by another minute. We have 1 minute remaining, 1 more round of pups coming up as well. And things are getting a little bit more urgent now for Joe Exotic, as they are going to just delay for this pups. They are going to bank everything on the pups. There'll be little contest on the top one now, as a nice kill in base allows Dokugan to leave the pup for Bobe. Don't know if that was intentional. Balwas does get a grab on the top side, all coming down to this. Dokugan able to use the bomb to do absolutely nothing. Pinkman does still get out. They do have the lead, and the snipe from behind from Nuga, killing Esteem. No lead there, no lead from behind. That doesn't help you. Instead, Bobe is going to try his time again, does get 2 kills and gives SC some space. They are playing anti as well. Bobe not able to get the snipe, which would have led to the cap. Instead, 20 seconds remaining. Esteem with probably the last chance here. They are not going to set up for re. Thank you. That's the correct decision. Almost getting the return on Pink. It's coming down clutch now. 10 seconds and a kill. Esteem needs to stay alive. He just can't. Just gets pressured.
Probably all she wrote with 3 seconds left. Ball was coming in just for a consolation, rubbing it in your face, really, actually. Last second cap in the end, bringing the final score to 6-8. But really, that could have gone anyone's way. It was really close all around, just coming down almost to that last round of pups. But just a really clutch snipe from Kickley, was that? Or Nuga from behind, shutting down the final opportunity with the escort and securing him a very solid 6-8 win.
Yeah, second half went the same way as the first in the end. 4-3 to Pinksmen, 8-6 total, as you said. I think Joe Exotic will be feeling a little bit robbed on that Emerald game. Certainly outclassed on Transilio, but really picked it up on Emerald and arguably looked the better team, but just Pinksmen a little too clinical at the right moments, a little too disciplined, and certainly winning the power-up battle. And obviously that shows, especially on a map like Emerald, can be so crucial. So congratulations to Pinksmen. Takes the sweep in the final game of week 2 OLTP, moves them up the ladder well, and they'll be feeling pretty happy with themselves going into next week.
Absolutely. I mean, they're already looking like just a solid top level OLTP team, really coordinated. You know, all of their caps were just really coordinated down to full team efforts. And although there's still mistakes, just some things that are slipping through, I mean, they're coordinated enough that they're making up for those deficits really well. So, Pink, congratulations on the win.
Yeah, thanks. It was a weird one.
A weird one, other than the lag.
Yeah, it's close it didn't come in the second game. The second game was alright.
Did you expect to win by as much as you did in the first half, at least, in the first map in Transilio? Or were you expecting something more of the close game that you got in the second?
Going in, I thought we'd do pretty good, but yeah, it was a tough one. We couldn't just break free. Just once we got that couple caps going, it was good on Transilio. But yeah, they played good. It was a good game.
It was a really good game for sure.
Yeah, probably a better game for the spectators than the players, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely, especially with the lag. And Doc as well. Commiserations on the loss, but seems like you did pretty well with Bobe. How do you feel with your first game with Bobe on the team?
Yeah, Bob was good. Bob was really good. I think we didn't have much time to scrim with him, so as a team we're kind of not as cohesive. But yeah, definitely a lot more potential. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, I don't want to be mean to anyone, so like, what can I say? Like, Rain wasn't working our team, so, you know, anything's better than that.
Anything is better than Rain. You heard it here first.
Okay,
folks.
that's not true. See, that's what I meant. Like, anything I say is going to be really bad, so...
No, of course. But I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it's more than just skill. It comes down to your ability to gel with the team. So, especially since we're all pretty well established and not really that different in skill anymore. So, I mean, in the end, Bobe got some really good solo plays in there for sure. So, seems to be recorded. Anyway, we'll wrap it up. Thank you very much for Vin for streaming. Thanks Pink and Doc again for putting on a good show and a good game.
Yeah, cheers, Vin.
We get more in the rest of the season.
Thanks for streaming, commentating.
Oh, and you says, yeah. Thanks.
Cheers for streaming.